Hi there, and welcome to That One Bullshit PlayStation Trophy with me, Super Beanie-man. Now, for today's episode, I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently because, if you didn't notice, this was the 25th episode of the show. I can't believe I made it to 25, but to celebrate, I'm going to be doing a special episode where I take a look at 10 trophies that I just gave up on. Now, these range from the PS3 to PS4, and they can be any sort of game where a trophy just blocked me from maybe going for the platinum, or just annoyed me enough to make me stop trying to get it, or maybe there was a glitch so they couldn't unlock it, or whatever reason. I'm just going to pick 10 of the best ones that I remember and try to explain why I didn't get them. So hopefully you'll like this special episode, and thank you very much if you've watched any of the previous 24, and I hope you stick around for more That One Bullshit PlayStation Trophies. So let's get it on, shall we? For Resident Evil 5 on the PS3, I currently have a 97% completion rate, unlocking 70 out of the 71 trophies, and the only one I couldn't get was the silver trophy, We Will Survive, which requires you to win 30 matches in Team Survivors. Now, the reason I had to give up on this one is because, well, I could barely get anyone to play this mode, because this was a mercenaries option in the game. It wasn't actually single player, so it was a co-op game, and you had to have another player with you to try and take out another team of 2, and 30 games was just way too many. I struggled to get a friend to play it, and we tried to get all of them. Over about a week or two, we tried to play all the modes and try and get all the trophies, and we got really close, but this one, we just struggled to get any players in, and then when we did, we couldn't always win either, so it was just a bit of a struggle. But the main reason was there just wasn't enough people playing this online, and unfortunately, you know, we weren't prepared to queue up for hours and hours and only get like one game in one night session. So it just wasn't worth it. In the end, we both just walked away and moved on to a different game. Yeah, so that's why I didn't get the We Will Survive trophy, because I just didn't survive. I couldn't survive the boredom of trying to find a match and then actually playing the mode, because I didn't think it was very good anyway. 2. Now, the only trophy I didn't get on Sonic 4 Episode 1 was the Untouchable Gold trophy for completing the Egg Station Zone, the final boss basically, without taking any damage. Now, this boss has multiple stages where you fight Dr. Robotnik in the classic sort of Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 boss fights, and then there's this really bullshit bit at the end where the whole station collapses, you just die instantly. I did try this a couple of times, but it's just so slow. You have to hit Robotnik so many times throughout all the phases, and it was just really annoying to, you know, do all of the classic versions and then get to the final bit with the big robot just to die and then have to start all over again. Plus the fact that the boss music was really annoying as well, and the game itself was just garbage. As much as I wanted to love it, and as much as I was in denial at the time, after playing Sonic Mania, I can see clearly that this game was just terrible. It was absolutely terrible, and I just never wanted to go back after trying it the first time to get it, because it's just shit. And it's just such a long boss fight that really kills the momentum, because there's so many first phases, and most of the first bits are really easy to dodge. It's not really a problem. You can kind of kill them pretty much a piece of cake, really. But it's just the fact that takes you several minutes to get to the bit where you probably will fail, and then you have to restart and then do that 2-3 minutes again just to get to where you're actually struggling with it. It was just a tedious slog that I just couldn't be asked to keep trying and eventually get. So that's why I never bothered getting that trophy. 3. Shank on PS3 was an awesome shoot 'em up slash 'em up side scroller that was really fun to play, and I blitzed through the majority of the game's trophies. Even though it didn't have a platinum, I still ended up with 71%. Achieving 11 out of the 12 trophies, and the only one I couldn't get was the I'm Just That Good trophy, which required you to complete the single player campaign on a hard mode. Now, hard mode was absolute bollocks, because if you died, you just spawned right back at the fucking beginning, and the levels were really long, and there was some where you could just die instantly by falling down a hole. And it was just another one where I think I tried it for a bit, realised that it was too hard and too bullshit, really, because it was going to end up making me hate the game if I tried to force my way through it. So I sort of just couldn't be arsed, and the fact that it didn't have a platinum either, it kind of put me off going for it in the first place, because I thought it's not really worth my time and effort if it's only just going to be a simple trophy to unlock. I think if it did have a platinum, I probably would have kept with it and tried to force my way through it bit by bit, but I wanted to leave it enjoying that game and remembering it fondly, whereas if I'd gone for that, I know I probably would have hated it by the end of it. So that's probably the main reason why I never bothered to get that trophy, because I felt it was too bullshit, and I just couldn't be arsed, really. I just couldn't be arsed. Speaking of not wanting to sour a memory of a game by going for a bullshit trophy, here we have Crash Team Racing on PS4. And a trophy that I just never bothered to go for was the Gasmoxian Slug trophy, which required you to beat all of N-Oxide's times in time trial mode. Now, I did have a little go on time trial, beating some of N-Troopy's times, and those were hard enough, to be fair. They were bullshit enough as it was, so there was no way I was going to go in for Oxide's ones, because they were just even more obnoxiously fucking difficult. It was like, Jesus fucking Christ, you had to have a perfect fucking lap on these fucking son of a bitches. Getting all the perfect boosts, going full whack around the track with a boost constantly, otherwise you're just not going to get anywhere near his fucking times. It was absolute bullshit, and I knew if I tried again for every single goddamn fucking track, and trust me, there was a lot of fucking tracks, I'd end up hating the game, and I didn't want that with Crash Team Racing, because I absolutely love that game. And I know I'm not the best at it, but I didn't need to prove anything there, and I thought I would have liked the platinum, but I weren't prepared to go for all that bollocks. So I just never really fully committed to going for it. I kind of knew going in that, yeah, I'm not going to get that platinum, so let's just enjoy the game as it is. And I think there's a few other trophies I didn't get in it, so that wasn't the only one, but that was the main reason why I didn't go for the others. And I didn't go and get the platinum, because I just couldn't do the time trials. I probably could do them, but I would have to sit there and practice, and I haven't got the patience for that sort of thing nowadays. I don't get enough time to game now as it is. And making loads of YouTube videos, I have even less time to actually sit there and play games. So it was just something that I didn't really want to commit to, because I just knew it just pissed me off. And when I look back on Crash Team Racing then, I'm thinking, fuck me, those fucking time trials where I went down that track 20 odd times. And another reason why I didn't do it is because it had all of the Crash Nitro Kart tracks on there as well, so you had to do time trial on all of them, and I never had that back in the day. I only had Crash Team Racing, so I only knew the 10 or so tracks from that game, and I just thought that was a bit even more bullshit, because I wasn't used to those, so it was even more work to do. And the fact that you had to do a time trial to unlock the chance to do Troopy's times, then beat his one to unlock a chance to do Oxide's times. You couldn't just race one and win it and beat all of them in one go, so that made it even more annoying, because you had to do each track at least 3 times to get access to all the time trials, and that was just a load of bullshit, man, and that's why I never bothered with that trick. Bionic Commando Rearmed. What an awesome 3D, 2D remake of the original NES classic on PS3. It was an awesome game that I really enjoyed, despite how stiff and clunky it was in the movement, but that was because it was a NES remake, and it was staying true to the classic. It also included some challenge rooms, and it's here where I failed to get all the trophies because of this one bullshit trophy called a real challenge, which required you to get 1 star in each of the game's 56 challenge rooms. Now these rooms were small, short, sort of puzzly, sort of traversal sections, which required you to get from point A to point B to complete the area. Now in between you was a load of traps or sort of obstacles that you had to overcome using your grappling hook arm, and to be honest, even from the beginning they were fucking hard, and only a few of them in, and I was doing moves that I didn't even realise were possible. I didn't even realise you could do that, despite having played through the game's entire story mode. And the main reason I didn't get these trophy was, well, it was basically, it was too tough for me. I just couldn't do it. I can't remember what challenge room I got to. I might have got about 20 or so in. I think I had a decent stab at it, but I just couldn't do it, and I just kept dying over and over and over and over and over again. And in the end, I just gave up. I just said, fuck it. I can't do it. This game beat me. This game was too hard. These challenges were way too hard, way too frustrating, and I didn't get the movement of the commando. I don't think I ever fully grasped moving and what I could do with that grapple hook to be able to get through these. So yeah, that's why I just couldn't do it. I just wasn't good enough. Outlast on PS4 was one of the first early horror games that I really enjoyed back in the early days of the PS4, and I really enjoyed playing this game. I completed it a couple of times and I quite loved it. It was really unique for the time, and it was terrifying running away from those big naked dudes. But there's one trophy that I will never, ever, ever even fucking attempt, and that is the Lunatic Trophy, which requires you to beat the game on Insane, which, for those of you who don't know, it's basically a permadeath mode, so if you die once, that's it, and you can't even save or anything, so you have to do it all in one sitting. Now, in my first playthrough and my subsequent playthroughs of Outlast, I died multiple times. I got killed left, right and centre by these fuckers. And there was one bit at the very end of the game where you're running away from the demon ghost thing, or whatever the fuck it was, and you have to run up or down, I can't quite remember, a set of stairs in the lab, and my god, that thing would just grab me every fucking time. You had to do that set of stairs in a very specific way. You had to turn at a very specific angle in order to be fast enough to go around them and avoid being grabbed by that ghost. And I just thought, wow, there is no way I'm ever going to try this playthrough and do everything perfect just to get fucked over by a fucking shitty bit at the end, because if that smoke creature grabs you, that's it, you're fucked instantly. And I thought to myself, nah, that's just going to piss me off. And that's one of the main things with trophies for me. If it really fucking annoys me, I don't want to do it, because I don't enjoy the game at that point, and it becomes more of a chore, more of a job then to try and finish it. And I want to platinum games that I enjoy, not necessarily ones that are easy, because I will play games that are hard, and I know there's a few here that I've not done because they're hard. But I just think this one's bullshit, because you can do a hard mode without having it just be a permadeath thing. Especially when you can just get grabbed by things you can't see, or things are chasing you in a very bullshit way. And I just thought, nah, it's not for me, this trophy. And that's why I never got the Lunatic Trophy on Outlast 1. And yeah, I don't regret it. I don't regret not going for that, because I think it was the right choice for me, because it would have just really fucked me up, to be fair. Now, this may be a controversial opinion, but I absolutely did not fucking enjoy Batman Arkham Knight on PS4. Now, sure, it looked great, and the acting was great, and the Joker bits were cool, but the game itself was just an absolute fucking slog. And I think the Arkham games always suffered when they tried to be a big open world. For me, Arkham Asylum was the best of the three games. It was the best of the bunch, man. It was just so much tighter, so much more refined, and the gameplay was just a lot better. It was a lot more fun to play. The Riddler challenges in that game were great, and yet in Arkham City and Arkham Knight, they just went overboard, because they had this big, massive city with nothing in it, so they just populated it with a load of Riddler challenges, and the ones in Arkham Knight were just a piss take. It's bad enough when you got 500 odd collectibles in a world to just run around and pick them up, but it's made even worse in Arkham Knight, because the majority of them are fucking awkward ass puzzle ones where you have to figure out how the fuck you get to the fucking thing, and sometimes you have to solve a mini puzzle or a physics thing, or sometimes you have to use your Batmobile to get in there, or one of your many gadgets, and it just made it an absolute fucking grind just to get one collectible, and then you got to do it all over again instantly to get the next fucking one. So there's hours and hours of gameplay that is shit just on these shitty collectibles. And I really hope in the next game they make, they just get rid of these, or just have like 50 or something that are easy to pick up, because it's just boring, monotonous, and tedious, and most of all, it's just not fun. I think I did a handful, and I just thought, nah, fuck it, I'm not getting this platinum anyway, so we'll just fuck it off, and I won't even bother. And it was the main reason, really, because I just don't see the fun of going around collecting these things, because it's just a time slog, a time waste. They're just boring. I just can't be arsed, basically, and I just never bothered to do it. If the game was more fun and you didn't have all the Batmobile bollocks in it, then maybe I would have done it, but I just think it's really obnoxious of the developers to make that many collectibles. It just didn't need to be that many. Populate the world with other fun things to do, none of these shitty collectible puzzles. I mean, Jesus Christ. Fuck that. So, I never got the Up to the Task trophy in Mad Max on PS4, which required you to complete all of the non-repeating challenges in the game, which added up to probably around 500 odd bullshit challenges through combat, traversal, collectibles, the car upgrades, all sorts of challenges basically. And there was one in particular, the scavenging locations, which required you to loot 191 scavenging locations scattered around the game's large open world. And the problem with this was, well, you could get all of them picked up and find that the counter is glitched out at 190 of 191, and then that locks you out of this overarching trophy that you've been working towards throughout the whole fucking game. I already did a trophy bullshit video on this, so if you want to see more about it, jump to that video. But just know, I would have got this trophy, I would have got the platinum if it wasn't for this fucking bullshit glitch that the developers never saw fit to patch, even though they later patched the game multiple times to add a load of bullshit things in. This, sadly, was never fixed, and I could not be asked to go back through the entire game to try and get this in the vain hope that it would work so I could get that platinum trophy. So, unfortunately, fuck you, Mad Max, you disappointing bastard. No. Wolfenstein 2 was another game that I really loved, and I enjoyed playing through the story, but it was a game that absolutely kicked my fucking ass from beginning to end. This game seemed a lot tougher than the original game. I mean, at the start, Blazkowicz is injured anyway, so he's a lot weaker, but it was just relentless all the way through. I really felt like this was a lot harder than the original. And for one of the trophies, which I just never got, never even attempted, was the Mein Leben difficulty trophy, which required you to beat the game on the hardest difficulty, which was basically the hardest level of challenge. And unfortunately, it was a permadeath thing. So if you died once at any point throughout the game, it would just restart you at the very beginning. And to be honest, I am not prepared to try that on any fucking game, especially one that's like a good 8 to 12 hour campaign. There's just no way in hell that I'm going to do that in one sitting, for starters. So that's one of the bullshit reasons why I never bothered to do it. And then just the fact that, you know, it's a shooter. You could shoot a barrel by mistake close to you, accidentally kill yourself with a grenade. You know, there's all sorts of things that could happen. There's all sorts of ways in which you could die in this. And to get several hours in and just die by a small, stupid mistake and then have to start from the beginning is just heartbreaking. And the fact that you can't even skip cutscenes either, so you have to watch the same shitty intro bit over and over again. It would have really pissed me off, and I just thought to myself, nah, I don't want to do this. So I didn't even bother to go for it. If the game would have given you a couple of saves, like in Dead Space, where you could save 3 times or whatever it was, then yeah, I might have done it, you know. Or if there was checkpoints or, you know, something where, you know, it wasn't just one death and you're game over back at the beginning. Because I don't see the appeal of those sort of things. I don't see the appeal of that challenge. I'm not one to try and go through it again and again. And there were certain bits in the game later on, like when you're on top of that airship thing and it's like wave after wave of bad guys come at you. I just don't know how the fuck you would do that. Or that courtroom where you start off and there's loads of enemies in the room with you, and then more come through the walls and windows and all shit. I just don't know how the fuck you would get out of that bit. I struggle to do that on normal difficulty, let alone that one, when you've got the added pressure of knowing that if you die, you've got to go back 10 hours that you've just been doing. It's just no way, man. No fucking way. I wouldn't be able to do it. If I'd have died near the end, I probably would have snapped the fucking disc or broken a few pads going for this thing. I know I would have. So I just think it's best if I don't bother with this. And that is why I never bothered with the Mind trophy on Wolfenstein 2. The You Asked For It Again trophy on the Evil Within 2 is the last one that I'm going to be talking about today. And no, Bethesda, we didn't ask for this again. This is not what we wanted. The Kumu mode was bad enough in the original Evil Within. We didn't want another one like that. In fact, this one's even worse because in this one, you only get 7 saves to use throughout the entire game. 7 saves. And worst, you're not able to upgrade Sebastian, so you're just stuck with all the basic weapons and the basic damage that they all can output. And quite frankly, it's a fucking nightmare. I don't even know if there's checkpoints, so if you die, you restart at your last save as well. Whereas in the original one, Akumu mode was a bit different. I don't think you had as many checkpoints, so it was longer patches to go through, but you could save whenever you liked. There wasn't a punishment on how many times you could save. So yeah, you would repeat large chunks of gameplay, but it might only be like half an hour's worth, not multiple hours to get back to where you were. So that was a good challenge. I really enjoyed Akuma mode in the first game, and I was looking forward to doing it in this one, but this version of it, this classic mode version where you can only have 7 saves and you can't upgrade anything, I just thought it was a bit too bollocks, really. And there was a lot of sections where I thought, nah, that's really tough, and you know, where do you save? And there's the open world bit as well, and it was just, I don't know, it just wasn't something where I wanted to play it. And I didn't really enjoy Evil Within 2 as much as the original either, to be fair. So that was a factor of why I didn't bother going for this. But it was more the 7 save thing. I hate when it restricts your saves. And the fact that you couldn't upgrade anything, so you were just the shit version of Sebastian all the way through. And there was stuff towards the end as well where I thought it was quite tough. The final few bosses were just bullshit. And I just knew that I didn't want to do it. I was happy to just play this game once and leave it at that. It wasn't one that I was really, like, after playing it, that I really wanted to get the platinum in. I just thought, yeah, I didn't enjoy it that much. And I didn't really want to suffer through another Akumi mode. But even within 1, that was great. That was a great challenge, and I really enjoyed it. But this was just not for me. It's just too bollocks for my liking. So yeah, that's why I didn't bother going for it. I didn't even attempt it, so it wasn't like I couldn't do it. I just didn't want to, and I think there's a key difference there. So yeah, that's that one for me.